I've had my Cricut maker for quite a while now, and I've had a lot of time to experiment with the different things that it can cut. And so I wanted to just make a quick video to show you all of the different materials that it can cut and some examples of things that I have made cutting all of the different materials using my machine. Now keep in mind that I am using the Cricut maker, so it has the widest variety of materials that it can cut. Your other machines will be able to cut most of the things as well, but if I want to be able to say cut fabric without a backing or felt without a backing, I'm gonna have to use the maker with the rotary cutting blade. The other machines can't use the rotary cutting blade. And then if I want to cut thicker materials, like thicker wood or thicker leather, you'll have to use the knife blade, which also can only be used with your maker. So the number one thing that we can cut with our Cricut maker that most people are probably aware is you can cut paper. So just using our regular fine point blade, you can cut paper. Now I'm not much of a paper crafter, but I did make this cute card for just demonstration purposes when I first got the machine, and it cuts through paper perfectly. I've also used the print and cut feature quite a bit to print out things for my kids' teachers, and then like say I need to print 30 of a thing and then cut 30 of them. It's much easier to do printing it out and having the machine do all of the work rather than sitting there with a pair of scissors and cutting that out myself. And then the next thing that I think Cricut is most known for is being able to cut vinyl. The permanent vinyl can be used for things like mugs or water bottles or tumblers. And then you would use your removable vinyl for things like wall decals, or you could even use either one on signs like this one that I made here for my son's room. The words here are cut out in vinyl lettering. Another thing that you can also cut with your Cricut maker is sticker paper. So say there are some custom stickers that you would like to make. You can print those stickers out on your printer, and then the machine can cut out those stickers or decals for you. There's also a printable vinyl that you can use to make vinyl decals. You can also use the machine to cut iron-on vinyl, and there are lots of different kinds of iron-on, but basically anytime you see like a t-shirt with wording or things on it like that, or a cute picture, you can use iron-on to recreate something like that. So if you want like custom shirts for vacation or things like that, family reunion, you can make your own shirts using your Cricut machine and the iron-on. Now, one of my very favorite things to cut with my Cricut maker is felt. It cuts through the felt so well, and I used it to make some really cute felt ornaments around Christmas time. So there's so many possibilities. If you love working with felt but you hate cutting it out, the Cricut maker is going to be your friend along with that rotary cutting blade. And one of the best things is, in previous machines that I've owned, you had to iron a backing onto your felt, making it so that you could only use one side of the felt. With the Cricut maker and your rotary cutting blade, you no longer have to iron anything onto the back of the felt to stabilize it. It can cut it as is. And the same goes for fabric. So if you're into quilting or things like that and don't like to take the time to cut out each individual piece, your machine can do that without having to put any kind of backing on the fabric, which is amazing. So another thing that I was really excited to try out with my maker is cutting wood. You can see I've cut this wood here, and then you can also cut these super thin, it's almost paper thin wood veneers to give a nice wood grain finish. So that's what I used to make the moon phases on this art for my son's room. And I love that wood grain effect that the veneers gave to the moons. And then the thicker wood I used to just give it a little bit more dimension underneath. And then I glued all of these on there, and it turned out so cute. And I was really happy with the way the machine handled cutting the wood. You can also use it to cut out wood lettering for signs and things like that. Just a lot of possibilities with that. The machine can also cut out heavy chipboard, which is great for your paper projects. Just think like 3D projects. I'm going to be using it to make a puzzle later, and so I'm excited to try that out and the possibilities that this thick chipboard has. Cricut also makes these fun infusible ink sheets, and the Cricut machine will cut through them. It's a pattern on the sheet. It's ink on these sheets in different patterns and styles, and you iron it onto the shirt, and the ink infuses with whatever the fabric, their shirts that they have, or coasters, tote bags, things like that, and it infuses with the fabric. And so the machine cuts these for you to make them in different shapes so that it's not just like one solid pattern. You can cut letters out of it, shapes, different things like that, and it makes for a really pretty project. And then lastly, something that I have been playing around with is leather. I made this really cute needle book using Cricut's leather that they have, which is a thinner leather, so I was able to cut that using my fine point blade. You can also cut thicker leather using your machine and your knife blade, so you would need the maker for that, but you don't need it to cut Cricut's thinner leather. They have genuine leather, and then they also have synthetic leather that you can use. So I'm super happy with all of the different materials, the variety of materials that the Cricut Maker can cut. I've gotten so much use out of my machine already, and I'll be trying out even more features and functions in videos to come. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the materials that I've shown you today, or about the Cricut machine itself. I'll have a link to the machine that I'm using, as well as the different supplies and the different blades that you might need to cut the different materials on your Cricut Maker. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video, and head over to my blog, cutesy crafts.com, for more fun craft ideas.